first started with having standards. Second was hopefully like a program management type approach to it, but it's still not there. Engineers Without Borders, yeah, we do things, but are we associated with Doctors Without Borders? There is none of that. There's so much room for improvement. It's unreal.
So, welcome to today's PM Espresso Shot. These are a series of brief, potent conversations designed to energize and inspire your program management practice. Dr. Bill Bersing is sharing his background today. You're going to learn more about him. And what I love is you're going to discover how his unique experiences and holistic approach can help you learn more about the best technology systems that we use for program management around the world from the creator himself, Dr. Bill. You're going to gain insights into effective strategies for overcoming challenges and capitalizing on opportunities. And lastly, you're going to draw inspiration from his favorite programs to enhance your own projects. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get that speaker up, put your AirPods in, and let's dive in. Welcome to the iPrograms podcast, The Art of Program Management, a podcast navigating the complex world of program and project management. I'm Virginia Schauer, your co-host, along with Dr. Bill Bersing, president of iPrograms. Join us for exclusive interviews with top leaders in the world of program management as they share their experiences, knowledge, and advice to help you excel in your career. Yes, what got you into program management?
Yeah, when I graduated VMI, Virginia Military Institute, I went to work for an agency, the Naval Facility Engineering Command, called NAVFAC in Norfolk, and they put me through this program called the Professional Development Career Program. And it's like 2.5 year program. It was really super cool. Went through all the different offices for about 6-9 months, and then did TDY in Puerto Rico. But during that time period, I spent a good amount of time in the project management section, Code 09 it's called. And I also went to all the different offices because I was in the computers. Back in the day, I put together computers, used to sell them with my buddy Brian Collier, and we went around, even in college, they did that stuff. I don't know if I ever told you about all that.
No.
But there is so many different programs out there. So when we had in Norfolk, it was Atlantic Division, and we had projects in Camp Lejeune and Cherry Point and all these other offices, and all those construction field offices had projects, which were in our term, they didn't even call it a program, but then in our term, they would call them programs. Now, large construction project, Oceana Naval Air Stations. I was the area manager for Dam Neck, Virginia, and Oceana, and we had all these cool projects. But because I was good in the computers, the guy, his name's Gary Mackey, said, Bill, he's a GS-15. He said, go around and as I was doing the computer stuff, because I was changing out the computer, I was assigned as a computer engineer, not just a civil engineer, a computer engineer. He said, go around and get all the information and collect it and let's standardize the forms and reports. And then I created this construction management information system because, it was in FileMaker Pro, and that was going. And it got some support from somebody in Camp Lejeune or Cherry Point was doing kind of the same thing. So I did that database, and that really got me involved in not just construction management, but program management, especially with the project management branch, because they had algorithms that were developed to say, hey, here's an office. How many people do we need, construction managers, and just the office? How many people do we need to support that office? It's doing how much a year? Okay, it's going to do $400 million a year of construction. So we have to determine how many people are in that office. So they had this little algorithm, this little thing that they had. It was really cool. And so even to this day, I'm using that little algorithm to do it. And so I put together a WIP work in place, WIP projection schedule, and we can talk about that later because that's really cool. Did it in Primavera. They were using it for years in Naples at the Naples Improvement Initiative, and throughout that was their headquarters in Naples. So throughout Aviana 2000 and all that, to be able to determine how many people needed in those offices. So sorry to,
No, that's really cool. So
answer,
did you, I guess, like, you just, when you went from you knew you wanted to be, you at first you thought you wanted to be a civil engineer, and then it moved into computer engineering, and then from there it moved into program management. I'm sure you didn't see that through line of where you go, or did you see that early on that maybe you would like to do project management or program management?
Yeah, I mean, from day one, I guess nobody really knew about program management. So PMI, Project Management Institute, had the College of Scheduling, and I was doing a lot of scheduling. So I used to do training for scheduling, using Primavera, P3, and then P6 and stuff like that. So it's always been how do you manage a program on that
Right.
on that aspect. So it's always been around the program, but they never even coined the phrase program management until later in the 90s, you know. And then I created like a, God, what was it? It's on before before Google even. It was on Yahoo. We had these things, and I put like 5, 6 questions up of challenging questions on program management, and then people just started doing this stuff. And then PMI started this whole program management training and all this stuff. So that was pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So, how would you separate the difference between large project management and a program management?
A program is more than one project. A program has to do with more than one types of resources that are shared amongst different projects. A program, I mean, there's just so many differences between it. So if you're managing a program like in Aviana, like in, huge, to build up a huge base or something, you need to have experts to look at your elevators. So you're going to manage a program. Okay, I'm going to manage a project. So I built this, I don't know, new air traffic control center, and I built this new barracks for everybody. So you're going to have a program to do all that, and they're going to be completed differently. When do you get the elevator expert to come out? Because you only have a limited amount of resources. How can you use those resources to help optimize not the project, but the program? If I were the
Mm.
project manager for that new barracks, I want the elevator guy to come out when I want him to come out. Not don't wait another 6 months. I want him to come out now because I got to check that box. But the box, if you were the program manager, needs to be checked when you can do the most amount of elevator inspections, at the same time, and then get them there for
Right.
a week. Same with everything in there. I mean, same with looking at the ground penetrating radar, same with going through and doing the survey, same with, I mean, just everything. You just don't do a survey for the school and then the barracks and then the flight line. You do it all at once, and you're
Right.
managing a program, and then you try to look at your infrastructure the same way. A lot of people, even now, when we have these infrastructure projects, um, they just tear up the road 16 times. No, you put a big trench through there. You look at where the most valuable resources are. You look at you do things civil engineering wise that would help optimize the program because you have multiple projects on that one road or whatever it is. Which did
So,
not happen in Trieste, by the way. They ripped up our road like at least 20 times, over
so
a matter of 10 years. Yeah.
that's crazy. And they probably are doing that in my road too.
Job security, I guess, yeah.
I
Yeah, even
guess.
with little cities, you see that there's no program management. There's just, okay, we're gonna do one project. Let's get this approved and let's go to something different. They're not looking at the big master plan. And even the people that are in charge of the bases have master plan. There's one person that's doing it. Yeah, he's a good master planner, but there's no program management office to be able to do it. A lot of the larger, especially Marine Corps bases, have these program management offices, PMO offices, they call them. And
It
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of like how you can piece together your doctors. Like you can have your endocrinologist, you can have your thyroid specialist, you can have your this, your that, or the other, and they're all working on these individual projects on your body. And then you also have your nutritionist over here, and they're all trying to piece together what the other one is doing, but there's no holistic view from the top. And then you think of what the Mayo Clinic does when somebody goes into the Mayo Clinic. They have a person that's overarching and overreaching over your whole project. And then everybody comes in and they're talking about you as a whole. It seems like this is a very holistic approach to the project versus compartmentalizing and then forgetting something because this over here needed this. Oh, well, this over here. And it seems very,
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because I've always thought, and I've written on it, that other industries, and I've probably even said it on this, can bring a lot to what we do. So when I did all these humanitarian projects in Africa, the Horn of Africa, all the Ethiopian guys that we hired, it was just amazing what we did. I'd bump into the doctors and the nurses and, the just really outstanding people. And we would talk about different things, and everything they told me had to do with civil engineering, of lack of clean water, or lack of this, lack of that. And to have that holistic approach to everything, first started with having standards. Second was hopefully like a program management type approach to it, but it's still not there. Engineers Without Borders, yeah, we do things, but are we associated with Doctors Without Borders? There is none of that. There's so much room for improvement. It's unreal when it comes to looking at things holistically to be able to improve it. When we were over there, we would start building something, and then another NGO would come in and say, "Oh, we were going to do that. We have the design, blah, 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 blah," but there's no coordinated effort. And it takes people to understand it. It's hard enough to get the project done to begin with,
right.
and get people's head around, hey, this is technically what we need to do. Then to get another resource to be able to think, it's just not happening. The money's not there. And it's the same thing. I mean, the Mayo Clinic can do it. You know why? Because they got a crap load of money, and they got the really good people that can do it. Our industry, not so much. I mean, we have really good people. We have really good companies out there. Jacobs is one of them, really good. AECOM, URS, all those WSP, all those large construction engineering companies, they're good and they're trying to do the right thing, but they're doing it in little silos. And not that that's wrong. That's the only way they can do it because it's a for-profit organization.
Right.
We need to have something that says, hey, let's work together because we got a bigger picture to solve. And the only way to do that, as far as the English government is concerned, is to make these projects huge. And they have. And they've awarded these $1 billion, trillion, whatever, really huge projects to be able to build U.S. or their military, what they call Department of Defense, military bases and this and that. They ever manage those bases for base operating support. They give out these huge contracts to be able to do that, which is great. But are we doing that? We're not doing it as big as it needs to be. And I know there's a lot of people on the large company side would agree with me because that's that would be great for them. But for small companies, it's not so much because we need smaller projects to be able to manage it. They're going to give it to us directly. Although they could subcontract that up and we could figure out a different way to do it. But
Out of all of the programs that you have done over the years, which do you think was your favorite to work on?
Naples is just beautiful. Man, that was cool. Naples, but then Aviano was cool too. I mean, that was really neat. And then, the Naples, the NAS 1, NAS 2, and Sigonella, that was really neat. Yeah, no, I can't pick any of them. They were just so cool.
So what are the
Vicenza,
aspects that tell
it's
tell
just
us
so.
tell us the aspects of the program that you worked on, the projects within them. What about the people? What about it? What about
Well,
those
every
things made
one
it?
of those projects and programs is all about the people.
Yeah.
The people are, what we still go out every Christmas for the Naples project, Naples improvement. We still get together.
That's
We still talk
amazing.
to the people. It's just amazing. Yeah, it's really cool. Dave and I were talking about that last night because we go out and we have really cool meetings with people a lot, really have really, good synergy with people and this and that. And then when we went out and did that thing at Randolph Macon, it seemed like it was the first time for some of these our classmates to get together and have, because everybody had such a good time. But we have that all the time. It's not like, we're just special. I mean, because of the international stuff, maybe. And that was a big part of it as well. But then the program that I'm doing at NIST is the same thing. It's like we get together. I mean, I guarantee we're going to get together because we just had that synergy and still do. And 5-10 years, we're still going to be friends and everybody's going to know each other and everybody's going to work together. It's great, But how do you do that? I mean, there's been some projects that haven't been like that. Norfolk, there were some projects that weren't like that. It wasn't the big program type thing. It was more like a job, Although I'm still friends with many of the people that I work with, it wasn't the camaraderie wasn't there,
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think lends itself to that?
Well, for those particular jobs, I think it was just because it was, you're Americans in a foreign country. We had some stuff in Greece and Spain. The Spain project, Verone was really cool. And there was just really cool projects and programs, What was special was that those were programs that were kind of in a bubble by themselves, unique. I mean, how many times do you move 2 active bases or 3 into one location? Not many.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how many times do you build up a whole base? I mean, the Aviana 2000 or,
Yeah.
Camp Darby was great. I mean, just all those things were really neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's at the end of the day, we've always said that it's about the people at the end of the day. We're not talking about who did this technically, somebody made a mistake or, this and that. We're talking about the people.
Did you enjoy that episode? Dr. Bill and I sure do hope so. Don't forget to give us a great review on Apple Podcasts, like 5 stars, and like and share on YouTube.
It's a long way home, thinking about that city of John.